Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into the unprecedented scale of the 2026 World Cup, and more importantly, the totally bizarre, chaotic realities that are unfolding entirely off the pitch. So let's get into it. I know, it sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? But to actually understand the sheer logistical nightmare of managing this mega tournament, we need to look at 5 completely unrelated, yet deeply revealing controversies from the opening days. These incidents paint a fascinating picture of what happens when the world's biggest sporting event collides with geographical and logistical reality. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the 2026 World Cup reality, turf wars in Monterrey, wildlife and security threats, the great gear heist, the empty seat controversy, and wrap up with a logistical juggling act. Okay, Section 1, the 2026 World Cup reality. Think about the absolute record-breaking magnitude of what organizers are trying to pull off here. Expanding to 48 teams spread across 16 cities in the US, Mexico, and Canada. That means millions of moving parts. We're talking about 104 matches and an unprecedented level of cross-border travel for teams, staff, and fans. When a tournament scales up this aggressively, it creates endless opportunities for things to just slip through the cracks. Which brings us to Section 2, turf wars in Monterrey. So right out of the gate, we get a major facility failure. Japan and Sweden completely rejected Monterrey's iconic Universitario Stadio. Despite it being the legendary home of Liga MX club Tigres, players showed up for training only to find uneven pitches literally marred by patches of dirt. The concern over severe injury risks was so high that both national teams demanded a venue change, and Japan actually ended up moving to the training grounds of Tigres' biggest rival, Rayados. Now, from an organizational standpoint, this friction is fascinating. Tigres officials, including Vice President Carlos Valenzuela, insisted they used a FIFA-certified company for 8 months to prepare the pitch. 8 months. But ultimately, they had to accept FIFA's official notice, moving the teams to their biggest rivals' facilities, which was obviously a massive blow to local pride. Moving on to Section 3, wildlife and security threats. This is where things get truly unpredictable. In San Diego, the Swiss national team actually had to issue official warnings to their players about rattlesnakes around their training base at the local Jewish academy, literally mapping out snake areas. Meanwhile, up in Missouri, local gun violence saw 9 people injured in a shooting mere miles from England's designated Swope Soccer Village base camp. Luckily, the England squad was still safely finishing up their pre-tournament training down in Florida when the incident happened. But man, it certainly set a really tense tone for their arrival. Up next, Section 4, the Great Deer Heist. 18 grand. That is the estimated value of the equipment lifted from England's transport vehicle. While the team was flying in, their gear was making this long overland trek from Florida to Kansas City. And that exposed a massive, glaring weak point in the tournament's supply chain logistics. Thankfully, local authorities in Jackson County swiftly arrested 2 suspects from Texas and recovered this completely bizarre assortment of stolen goods. We're talking essential gear like 9 pairs of cleats, including Harry Kane's, goalkeeper gloves, and a Lego set? Because none of the stolen property ended up being game critical and was returned so fast, England's goalkeeper Dean Henderson kind of just brushed it off, telling reporters that ultimately nobody's bothered. All right, Section 5, the empty seat controversy. Despite exorbitant, record-breaking ticket prices, with some fans facing dynamic pricing that pushed seats into the thousands of dollars, there were highly visible pockets of empty seats plaguing the premium sections. We saw this during the USA's opening ceremony at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles and down at Estadio Akron in Guadalajara. For a tournament billed as the biggest ever, broadcasting empty middle and lower tiers on global television was definitely a bad look. In response to the immediate public backlash, FIFA issued this rather incredible statement. They claimed that the official attendance of nearly 45,000 at Akron accurately reflected scanned tickets within the stadium footprint. They just flatly rejected the visual assessments of the empty stands, essentially arguing, hey, the fans are here, they're just hanging out in the concourses instead of watching the match. Unsurprisingly, journalists and fans vehemently rejected FIFA's standing in concourses defense. We are just reporting what the sources state here, but many pointed out the absolute absurdity of using the word several when discussing massive, glaring swaths of empty seats in the most expensive sections of the stadium. It created an absolute PR headache right at the start of the games. Finally, Section 6, a logistical juggling act. So, what is the crucial point you should take away from all of this? Well,
All these isolated stories, the turf disputes in Mexico, the rattlesnakes in San Diego, the gear heist in the Midwest, and the empty seats in LA, they matter because they vividly illustrate a massive overarching challenge. It is nearly impossible to flawlessly execute a sprawling, decentralized mega event across an entire continent. The more moving parts you have, the more things will inevitably break down.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to consider. As tournaments grow larger and cross more borders to maximize revenue, perhaps the localized chaos we are seeing isn't a glitch in the system. Perhaps it's just the new, unavoidable reality of the modern World Cup. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.